Germany was once the powerhouse of Europe, a hub of industry, opportunity and safety. But now people are leaving. I've lived most of my life in Germany. It's my native language, my home, where my friends and family are. But what's happening now is nothing short of shocking, especially if you're trying to build a business or achieve real success. In this video, we are diving deep into the real reasons why everyone is leaving Germany and why choosing the right place for your business, your family, and your future is more critical than ever. We are always comparing Germany to what it was and what people think about it. Not in general that Germany is bad. Don't get that wrong. Germany is still very stable. They're still doing very well. But I feel that Germany is a country that is controlled by the puppet master, and Germany does not really want to be Germany anymore. I heard that at a political event that I went to and spoke to myself about crypto. But there was one guy on stage that said Germany is the only nation that doesn't want to be a nation. Germany has no pride. And the pride was taken, especially from the past. And Germany is still paying that debt, and that is really hurting the Germans themselves. They should be proud who they are. They should be proud about their country, and they should stand up and especially kick everyone out that is illegally in Germany and causes problem and does not contribute. So it will mark 3 years now in December 2024 that I actually left Germany. I left Germany at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, which marked a big cut of my life and was a very difficult decision that I took. I mostly took the decision because after many years living in Germany, especially during the last 10 years of building my business, 6, 7 out of them in Germany, I found it insanely difficult as a young entrepreneur to build something that is not really positively seen by the society. I found it very difficult to build something that people hate. I found it difficult to understand the code of taxes and especially how and whenever they can come in and bust your business and make inquiries that could threaten your business. Also, one of the most important things that I found very difficult when building a business in Germany is that you need to pay your taxes in advance. There's a certain amount of percentage that they project into the future that you need to pay on a certain date. Now, liquidity, having money is one of the most important things as an entrepreneur, especially when you start off doing something. I'm not saying it's impossible and I always managed it, but having another very difficult entity in your life when you're already dealing with other entities and building a business that is already difficult and you're trying to make ends meet, take care of yourself, your financial situation, your family, and do something, progress into the future, you don't need more enemies. You need less enemies, you need friends, people, governments that help you, that make it easier for you and introduce you into an easier way of building your business with less registrations, less bureaucracy and less bullshit, less taxes and less enemy mindset. Because in Germany, whatever you do, once you deal with money, you always feel like you're the enemy of the state. They will shut down your bank account if you achieve making money. There's high transactions that come into your bank account. I have personally experienced that, where they closed down one of my accounts with more than 50,000 euros and they actually took it from me. Still today, I'm fighting the bank to get it back. The reason for that was that they thought I'm doing money laundry. Money laundry because I had high commissions paid to my bank account. Now, many times when I started to make bigger investments or I wanted to put more money into something, registered brokers or even crypto brokers, they would shut down my company account, call me or ask me where I'm sending this money to, or would simply just not allow it. Besides living in Germany, besides the weather, besides the people, the mindset, the immigration, C-19 back in the times and the regulations that they came up with, besides all of that, that was the point that annoyed me a lot about Germany. And I started to find a solution. And the solution was Dubai. Another very important thing why I left Germany is especially the mindset of the people. Now understand, I'm an immigrant in the sense of my mom is German, but my dad is Portuguese. I was born in Namibia in Africa and came to Germany when I was 5 years old. I always felt very welcomed in Germany, and still today I feel very welcomed in Germany. I never felt that I was less just because I came from another country. In general, I'm very grateful for Germany, and Germany still is truly a great country where if you are average, you have a normal job, and you want to do normal things, is perfect for you. There's a lot of social security support, in the sense of a lot of social support for the people. Means if you have a normal job, you're more or less taken care of. But this is definitely getting less and less and degrading. The system can simply just not hold more people, and people are coming to Germany, exploiting the social system just for their benefit, but don't want to contribute. And I don't want to live in a country where no one wants to contribute, but just take, and then at the end of the day, talk bad about this very country they live in. We have a very big immigration problem in Germany. The politics in general is something that I'm very, very annoyed and disappointed of. We are just letting everyone into the country, which then, for me, the most important thing, a country needs to provide me if I pay a lot of taxes, because I per se don't have a problem with paying taxes. But if I pay a lot of taxes, if I contribute, then I want to at least have 3 things in the country that I live. Number 1 is security. I want the country to keep me secure where I live, the people I love when they go out, and when they go to parties, come back or walk around at night, which is not there anymore. Number 2, I want them to support their people, especially if they do it the right way and want to contribute more. I always felt like a thief, a liar, a deceiver, just because I was making a lot of money with my online business. Instead of supporting me to get bigger, make more money, and then contribute more, I always felt they're against you. Every time you deal with the government and their bureaucracy, it is insanely difficult to understand what they want from you, and you always feel that everyone is against you. This pressure is very hard, so it doesn't feel good to actually contribute. So I understand many people that come to Germany, try to contribute, but then due to the bureaucracy or the mindset of the people or how they are dealt with, they don't even try anymore. And no one is incentivized for success. Everyone is incentivized to stay average. Another very strong point why I actually left Germany. Germany is very known for their nice people and for kind people. But in the last years, especially in the last decade, I've felt that many people became very cold. Your normal conversation with your neighbor is mostly a negative one. People in general and the mindset of the people is very negative. There's especially 2 things that I hate the most. Number 1 is that people don't like you see winning. You are not allowed to win in Germany. Everyone wants you to be average. No one wants you to succeed. And people have insane greed and insane hate towards people that are successful or want to show off what they have. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not so much of a show-off person. But if I work hard, I want to enjoy my nice car. I want to maybe enjoy my watches. I want to enjoy my lifestyle. Back in the times, I had a C43 AMG. I bought it very new. My first big success in business. I rewarded myself with a beautiful car. I'm a car lover, as you might know, and buying my first C43 AMG was an amazing experience. And I hope everyone will have that one day, that they can achieve something in their business where they can afford their dream material thing. For me, it was this car. After driving the car and picking it up, I drove it to a shisha bar in Frankfurt, which is an insanely big city in Germany and very well known. And I parked it in front of a shisha bar, not in a shady area, but actually in one of the main spots of the city where there's a lot of movement, a lot of people. When I came back, I was completely shocked to find my car scratched from left and right, back and front, and more than 5,000 euros spent to repaint and fix the car. This all just happened because of greed. This just happened because I had something that they didn't have and they didn't like it. And that is a big definition of Germany. Now, there might be certain areas in Germany that you can go where you will feel that there is support for success. I'm always talking about my view, how I see it, my point of view. I grew up in South Germany, always lived there. It is known to be a very wealthy area in general, where a lot of people retire, a lot of successful people retire, where we have the biggest companies such as Porsche, Mercedes, and a lot of technology and infrastructural companies, especially for the medical space. So it's a wealthy area. But I needed to find out that I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe letting my loved ones walk around at night, maybe back from the gym or to somewhere else from shopping or just in general. I found out that you need to take very care and be very careful where do you put your car and where do you put your precious belongings, because someone could either take them, break into them, or just destroy them out of pure greed and hate towards what you have and they don't have. It's truly a society of hate, and most conversations are negative. Most talks are bad. Most interactions with humans don't feel very nice and don't feel very easy, because at the end of the day, everyone's just looking for themselves and no one really wants to help you. Now, besides that, obviously, what most people talk about, which you don't even can change, but I think it's very important once you have the chance, it is to move into a country or to move to a place in general where there's nice weather. Germany, where especially in South Germany, most of the times, let's say 80% out of the year is just gray, dark, rainy and cold. And that's something that after many years really gets to you. I've seen many people, and every time there's a problem in Germany and people feel bad, we always say it's the weather. But it's true. Germany is a true country where you feel that many people are depressed. Many people are not kind. Most people just focus on work and making money and going home and watching TV. It's truly a society of ignorance, of depression, and unkind people. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is like that. Especially there is nice people. There is a lot of friends that live there. But I'm telling you from my personal view, and that's what I've experienced compared to other countries. And I know it might hit different. And you might say, Miguel, why are you talking bad about Germany? You are German, and I love Germany. I love Germany for their brands. I love Germany for their quality. I love Germany for their people and for their trustworthy business and the quality in general overall. Because once you find good people there, they will keep their word, they will do a good job, and you can always count on German quality, either in cars or brands. I think one of the biggest blessings, but also one of the biggest downsides, especially for the German country, is that the immigration problem is eating up the country. Now, immigration per se is nothing wrong with that. I myself came to Germany. Yes, my mom is half German, so I don't know how much you can say I'm an immigrant, but I was born and I lived in a different country, and I came to Germany for the reasons why most people actually come to Germany and respect and love Germany. I came to Germany because where we were living, there was war. And I know that especially nowadays with all these chaoses and all these problems and wars, the people just want a safe place for them to live, build their business, have a job, and create and build their family. That's not possible in many countries nowadays. So they look for a strong country such as Germany. One of the most important things for me, it doesn't matter where I live, because now I'm an immigrant in the UAE, is contributing. Adopting to the ways, the culture, how people think, their rules and their regulations, and treating this country as a guest forever. Because I'm an immigrant, I need to provide value, I need to work hard, and I need to earn my place in this society. And I would wish that that is something that Germany would control more and improve more, is how to take care of immigrants and especially how to teach them how to be part of the country. There should be rules like they need to learn about the language, they need to get a job and work, and the integration system should be way easier, where people, especially with professions, can retake or reclaim their old jobs if they have been doctors or engineers, or especially a profession or an expertise that we especially need in Germany. Germany is lacking expertise workers, people that have skills in certain areas. And these people, we have them coming from different countries. I'm not saying that everyone that comes to Germany just wants to exploit the country and has no skills. I know myself a lot of immigrants. I grew up with a lot of immigrants, and I've always tilted more towards the Turkish, Kurdish, and Syrian, the Arab side, with people that came to Germany. Most of them are insanely kind. Most of them want to work. Most of them want to contribute and build their future in Germany. But they can't, because the bureaucracy, the very slow system of papers, registration, and legislation, but then also the complexity of the system, where most of the times even the people that work at these government stations don't even know what they're doing themselves. When it comes to building a business in Germany, from my perspective of view, I think it is easy to do it, it's easy to register, and it's very cheap to do after you really understood the whole procedure and the bureaucracy. Now in Germany, there's two main important things that you need to understand. The very first important thing is that the Finanzamt, which is basically the tax authority, is insanely aggressive, and they will be on your ass if you do something wrong, which I think is completely okay. But it is very difficult to understand their system up to the point where you actually need to invest a lot of money, invest a lot of knowledge to understand the system so you don't do anything wrong. The second very important thing is that bureaucracy will take a lot of your time, will have a lot of problems, will cause a lot of problems, and you need to take that into consideration. Business in Germany is very much explainable now at a very good example that just came and happened, which is Volkswagen. Volkswagen back in the time was founded by Adolf Hitler and Porsche together to make a car for the people. The Volkswagen, the car for the people. Volkswagen themselves cancelled over 3,500 working places and is moving out of Germany. The The country where they were originated, the country where they come from, the country that is known for their cars, and it's an immense loss for the German people and Germany in general. More and more businesses are leaving because their tax system is just not competitive anymore if you think on a global scale. There's many countries you can move to, there's many other European countries that give you better percentages when it comes to taxes, and most companies in Germany right now cannot live and survive. Germany is founded on the Mittelstand. The Mittelstand are the people that have their normal businesses, have good jobs, but they also pay immense taxes. A normal small or medium-sized company cannot survive anymore because the production cost is too high, the taxes are too high, and for them to sell a product after they paid all of these taxes, it is impossible for them to compete with other companies outside of Germany or just in general with other companies that are big. So Germany is losing his Mittelstand, which is one of the most important. Think of these companies, especially in South Germany, that cater to the medical industry. These are some of the biggest ones, especially where I come from in Tuttlingen. It's a whole city, and the whole city's wealth is built on these companies. Medium-sized to big-sized companies, family companies that have been in generation, fourth or fifth generation, that have to close their doors because it's impossible for them with the policies, with the high taxes, to even compete with companies out of there. Imagine you build a product. Imagine you build this iPhone. And this iPhone can be sold in Germany for $5,000 instead of $1,500. Because in Germany, there's so many taxes, there's so many steps in between where taxes need to be deducted and paid that this iPhone can physically be sold lesser than 5,000 US dollars. For example, whether in other countries, the taxes are lower, the production cost is lower, and the loans are lower, and the whole bureaucracy is way easier, so it's faster. You don't need these many licenses, registrations, and whatever that costs a lot of money and add up, so they can sell it for 1,500. And for example, if the iPhone would have been produced in Germany, it's just not compatible anymore with any other country. That's especially why iPhones are produced in China, where the company is registered in Ireland, Apple, where they pay no taxes and they have their head office in the US. So there's many countries that incentivize big companies and they get a lot of tax cuts, but that's not happening in Germany. Tax for everyone is the same, it is very high, it's very difficult to get around with, and it's very, very difficult to find gray zones to really escape. And if there's any gray zones, then it's mostly leaving the country, which leaves Germany at a loss, because Germany lives off the tax money that comes from these big or small companies, the Mittelklasse. Nowadays, if you put inflation into perspective and the loans that people still get paid, there's no real way a normal person nowadays has a real good life. Most people will never earn a house, most people will never own a car, most people will never have enough money to actually live alone, and most of them don't even want to have a family because they simply just don't have the money for it. That means a socialistic and democratic country as Germany should still make sure that their policies promote these values. Because living in a democracy, living in a socialistic country, living in an open market country means you have the opportunity to actually build your own home, have the money for that, the loans where inflation is low and your job pays you enough. You work very hard and you work a very good job. Most of the times you are not incentivized. You don't get any better conditions. There's no tax deductions, there's just insane bureaucracy that most people don't even understand themselves, and you find yourself somewhat lost in there. So especially when it comes to businesses, I've had many friends that told me about their stories where they just felt it's insanely difficult, besides building the business, dealing with your team, dealing with acquisitions, dealing with investing, dealing with the money, dealing with all of these things. There's another very difficult thing that you need to take care of, and that is Germany and the tax system. So many people have told me it just makes no sense for them to build a business because they are so scared of the tax, they are so scared of the Finanzamt, the tax authority, and they can't physically build it because they take so much money from them. And especially when it comes to the Vorsteuer, where they need to pay in advance for their taxes, it just is impossible for most of the people that have very low margins in the first couple of years to really sustain their business in Germany, and they rather end up closing it or actually even moving out to another country. Building a company in Germany nowadays makes you most of the times, on average, a little bit more successful than just having a normal job. But the problem is you have way more risk on your shoulder, because building a business means if the business goes to zero, right, then you have to pay. You are in debt. So it doesn't really make sense anymore to come in and build a business in Germany. Just take a job. The rest of the money comes from the Sozialamt, the socialistic institution that pays you extra money if you cannot afford it. Most people have second or third jobs plus support from the government, or they make extra money somewhere that is not registered. And all of this is very sad to see because it could work very well. The reasons why I actually left is not just because of these reasons, there's actually a bigger one. And the bigger one is the direction that Germany is heading to, but not only Germany, but the Western world in general. Constantly we see on the media and news, the LGBTQ stuff, we see things that happen with kids, we see rappers and big people getting into prison because of what they did, and I feel the Western world is very demonic. And I think they're pushing this. I think this is an agenda because everything that happens in the world just doesn't happen from somewhere. I think the Western world is controlled by the so-called elites, where I cannot tell you who they are. You have to make your own mind up for that and educate yourself, because if I would tell you, I would definitely get shut down and I would have never again have the opportunity to talk about these kind of things, so I need to be very careful. It is very important to understand that if I want to build a family in Germany, which I one day will, especially now here in Dubai in the UI, where I feel fit to build a family where there's the right values, right culture, right mentality, and right security, and the right mindset. But that's not true in the Western world, especially in Germany. Even today in the news, Germany was a spot number one. Why? Because they're changing the laws when it comes to kids and child pornography. They are making them looser. They're making it easier for people. Now the thing is that in the westernized world, especially in Germany, nowadays you have to be scared that you put your kid in kindergarten and your child comes back from kindergarten and actually wants to be a fox or something else, because it's shoved down their throats. People and this agenda is very much used in the Western countries, especially in Germany, in France, in the US, and so on, where they really want to make it easier for people to become whatever they want to be. It's a very egocentric society, where everyone just thinks about their problems, where it's always just about them, where it's not about contributing, it's always about how people feel, and it's especially messing with God's creation, the humans themselves, woman and the man. I cannot live in a country that deliberately pushes this into kindergartens, into schools, and make people, and the most valuable thing for us humans, change, and even force them to change and make it easier for them to change. So LGBTQ in general and the new ways of thinking and the direction Germany is heading to is something that I don't like. Germany especially is known for normality. A normal good job, a normal house, a normal car, and a normal life. And that's something that people love in Germany, being normal. And that is okay, because if you're above, you need to leave, and that's something already discussed about. But nowadays they are attacking being normal. Nowadays being normal in Germany is toxic. Not being open and not being general in the sense of accepting everything and everyone is something that is frowned upon, and I don't like that. Germany should wake up again and stand for what they stand, and that is a normal, strong middle class, people that are on time, people that build things that are of quality, the most qualitative car brands, and a country that is sovereign and strong and everyone looks up to. But that's not true anymore, because people look from the outside and see these things, see how big companies are leaving, see how only LGBTQ is discussed and everyone can do whatever they want. It's ending in hedonism, it's ending in insecurity, it's ending in stabbings, it's ending in people taking things from people breaking into houses, unsecure streets, fights, and especially one of the most disgusting things, and that is taking advantage of women in the sense of rape, which is happening more and more in Germany, where immigrants rape young girls and immigrants that are below the age of 18 and especially don't get any punishment for that. So that is what Germany is known for right now. And there needs to be something that is changed where they go back to the normality. Because the normality is what people like. The normality is something that everyone appreciates in Germany. Every time I travel and I tell people I'm German or half German, they will say German are the kindest people. They're the people that are always on time, very good people, very good guests, strong manners. And that's something that Germany really stands for, but you don't see it anymore. Because now it's not okay to be not tolerant anymore. It's not okay to be normal. It's not okay to think about a woman as a woman, a man as a man. And I cannot live and support a country that is doing that. Now the thing is, this doesn't come from the German people. This comes from the puppet masters that actually control Germany. And I'm always trying to understand who these puppet masters are. Nowadays I know, but again, I cannot tell you. You need to do your own research on that. But they are definitely controlling it. And it's not the Germans that want that. But it's the Germans that are always put into the corner, beaten up for what they've done in the past, where there's no nationalism anymore and no strong sense for what they are, who they are, and what they stand for. And that's something I cannot support and I very much hate to see, but I'm definitely going to do something against it. And that's also why I'm so insanely vocal about all of this, because I want people to stand up and stand their ground in their country because it's theirs. I think, especially back then, what was different in Germany than now is that people were more Germans. And that sounds kind of stupid, and I understand. And I'm way far from being racist or not letting anyone into the country that especially wants to contribute. But there needs to be rules. In that sense, Germany back in the time just felt way more wealthier for the general people. The general public had more money. Normal families had enough money to support their kids, their dreams, their vacations, a nice car, especially a nice German car. So imagine a German working man could actually afford a life for their family, a nice house that he's paying off to the bank, but at the same time driving Mercedes, an Audi, or a Volkswagen, a German car. So it was Germans for Germans using German products and being proud Germans and actually being able to use their own products and actually enjoy what their own country builds. But nowadays, everyone is the same. Everyone is pretty much broke. No one can afford their own quality products. Everything is imported from outside, and most people live kinda in a new age, kinda communistic way. And I know that sounds very bad, but I actually dedicated a lot of my time to study communism, and I feel that living in Germany, and every time I go back to Germany, it feels like kinda in a communistic, new age communistic style and way, especially when you go out into the world, into the cities of Germany, and you see how people really live, think, and what they do on a daily basis, and how little money they actually have to actually do anything they want to do, because the taxes eat them up, the inflation eats it up, or just in general, they're not simply making enough money. So the Mittelstand, the normal people that have good, honest jobs, they cannot even afford life. And living in a socialistic, democratic country where you work hard and you contribute, you pay your taxes, but you cannot even afford living in your own country is something that is not only happening in Germany. It is very similar to the UK, to France, to the US, and many other westernized countries. And I think it's a westernized problem, not a German problem, but I know Germany can get out of it, and Germany should not continue to go down the hedonistic route of continuously doing what all the other westernized countries and powers are actually doing, but actually should think for themselves and do what they've always done, and that is producing good products, focusing on their economy, empowering people that contribute and are willing and open to pay the taxes and contribute by having a good job and making a good salary so they can afford life for them and for their families. I very much have a lot of hope for Germany, and I think Germany can and will recover. Since I entered the politician space over a couple of months ago and have good connections, I found out there's a lot of people that think the very same way as I do. So if you think the same way as I do, or you share some of the strongest opinions that I have about Germany, then comment below and maybe add what you think needs to change and where I was wrong and I was right. I'm always open for transparent feedback. Now the problem is that Germany is right now going down the hedonistic route, and it's going down very fast and it's really losing momentum. Germany definitely has a reputation than no other country. The reputation and something that people say once you say you're German is that they are some of the kindest, some of the nicest, with the best manners, and it's a country where everyone can live free, do whatever they are secure and make a lot of money. And that is very true back in the times, especially for the people applicable that want to contribute to the society. But that's not what it is nowadays. Many times people would tell me, oh, I want to go to Germany, it's a beautiful country, I want to live there. But once they came to Germany, they just found themselves in front of a wall of bureaucracy, problems, systematical problems, lack of infrastructure and understanding and integration. So especially when it comes to that, Germany right now is, I think, not a great place to live and go there. But it's a great place if you are a fugitive, okay? If you're a fugitive of a country that is in war and Germany actually takes you in, but then do your very best and contribute. Be kind, be good, learn the language, learn the culture, contribute to the culture, and stay in your lane when it comes to rules. And if you do that, then Germany is a perfect country. If not, you should not be allowed to go there. So yes, it is a great place. It will have a comeback, but it needs to start right now, and I know that many people want to change it, and the new generation is gonna change it. For the good or for the bad, we still don't know, because most of the times history repeats itself, and Germany, or especially the world in general, But the westernized countries always penduled from the leftish to the rightish, from the rightish back to the leftish. A dictator makes a king makes a democracy makes a dictator again, then a king again. It always has been like that. Because people are normally fed up with one of these sides in general, depending on who takes rule on them, if it's installed too long into the country. If there's a dictator that does it wrong, then they want to go back to democracy. If the democracy lacks infrastructure, reinvestment, and all the problems we are seeing right now in Germany, they want to go back to a dictatorship or a kingdom, or especially more to the rightish side where a leader takes care of the country and tackles the problem. But that is something that many people are very sad about in Germany, and that's the so-called bureaucracy. I've mentioned the word many times, but it actually means it makes it insanely difficult for a person to actually do something, because so many different institutions, so many people have a say in the small decisions. That's why building normal streets takes up to 20, sometimes 30 years in Germany. I live next to a street that they are building, that they have been building for the past 20 years, where here in Dubai, they build new cities, new streets, new towers, entire family union houses with 100 or more of them in a couple of weeks or months. That is possible because of strong leadership, fast leadership, and there's not too much bureaucracy. People that want to change something are given the empowerment to change something, don't have to talk to 100 institutions, and everyone has a say in it. But the country is kind of going against itself because too many people have a say. But that's again not a problem of Germany, but the governmental way of how to deal with things. So I would say it's not Germany, it's a system that Germany has adopted that was the biggest upside for them, but also now the biggest downside. And that is a sense of bureaucracy, democracy, and even leading into a new age communism, where normal people that contribute and work hard cannot afford a normal living, and they live under circumstances that remind me of new age communism. I could definitely not imagine going back to Germany one day. I go back to Germany frequently. I love to visit the country. I love to go there, but it's always a blessing to come back to the UAE, and there's no reason for me to go back to Germany. Only if I want to go there to better the situation, contribute and change something once I've done very good for myself. Because I think that once you live in a country that gave you everything, you need to contribute, and I'm not done with Germany. I want to give back, and I will do something to give back.